got a lot of daring, awesome campaigns on here. Pretty much all of these are by people that we know. Smokes the Fox is here. That's a nice Mike Barron campaign. Mike Barron wrote this.
Yes,
Chrome Dog, happy to see that here.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another exciting edition of Agent Zero's impromptu streams. I am your host, Agent Zero, aka Justin K. Sweet, and yes, these are my lovely hands. Lots of arm hair. Gotta love it, right? Before we get started, please, I guess hang in there because today's going to be, I guess, maybe a little different. So today is the release of this really cool expansion or new set. Sorry. Of Flesh and Blood, which is a card game that I'm very enthusiastic about. And I know not many people in our indie comic space are into card games, but that's okay. I mean, this is kind of my little guilty pleasure, as they say. And so yeah, I'm just going to be sitting here, probably fiddling with my cards and just having a nice little chat with whoever decides to pop in. But otherwise, the main thing that I wanted to cover today is, yes, in the title, Chrome Dog is going to be late, unfortunately. And that is there's a few different factors happening that has contributed to that. One of which is that Chrome Dog is being drawn by Luke Stone, who also happens to be the founding member of Fund My Comic, a founding member, as it were. And so he's been super busy over the past few months. And he's also got other projects that have been ongoing for him. And so he's been working feverishly to, keep all of his deadlines met, as well as providing awesome customer service for those who need help when it comes to Fund My Comic, as well as directing those of us who are also moderators on said comic book and novel and game crowdfunding platform. So needless to say, Luke has been extremely busy. And so I, being the creator and writer of Chrome Dog and employing his expertise to draw said Chrome Dog, I'm certainly more than patient. And but in the midst of all that, there was a little bit of a miscommunication on my part to understand exactly how this was all going to work. And I'm still, essentially, I assumed certain things and that certain things were happening and they weren't, because it was actually up to me. Little did I know. So the colorist was, finally given some pages, and he some pages to draw, to color, and so he's actually able to. He's had some other projects, and so he kind of had to push them off a little bit, but he's now on the case and will hopefully, according to what I'm being told, should be done with coloring by November 15th. So I am not able to meet the fulfillment deadline of October like I had promised initially in the campaign. And what I've done is I've actually moved the Fund My Comic, all the deadlines to January 1st, so that if there's any other hiccups, hopefully I've given enough space so that there's not going to be an issue with that. So that is kind of where I'm at the moment with my side of the project. I can tell you that with Luke, I have it on good authority that he's at least 80% done with the rest of the line art. He's supposed to be dropping a whole bunch of pages on me in the next few days, and so I'll have that, and then of course those go into a mutual box that myself, as well as Luke, as well as our colorist. And then eventually Eric Weathers will get on the case. Once we get all of the pages complete with colors and everything, we'll go over to him. So I'm looking at optimistically, I'm looking at a December fulfillment, but I've decided to set everything for like January 1st. That the campaign will, as in like coming down, being completed on Fund My Comic, as well as fulfillment. Like basically, if any, like my goal is to hopefully be able to fulfill middle December, but I know we're, then of course everybody's got the holidays on their minds and this and that. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally with Chrome Dog at the moment. However, in the meantime, I've been working on getting some of the really fun stuff going with the metal bits of the campaign. So I'm going to show off a few things today. How's that sound? So before I continue, let's take a look and see who's in the chat. Whoops, there we go. I can see it now. Duck Bacon, hail Agent Zero, he says. Hail Duck Bacon, and all things ducky, which by the way, this is a Ducky keyboard. It's an old school Ducky keyboard. If you haven't ever heard of Ducky keyboards, they're definitely worth checking out. I may or may not be working for a company that sells Ducky keyboards. Anyway, some of us have day jobs, especially us writers. Now, on that front, before I continue with anything else necessarily Chrome Dog, although let's see, maybe I'll circle back to that. How about that? So here we go. I'm going to show you this really cool metal bookmark that all of my physical backers will be receiving as part of the first the first stretch goal unlocking. So there it is, two-sided bookmark. It's got Scratch right there with the two moons of Epsilon City, Lux and Proximo up there, hanging in the sky, looking beautiful. And then we flip it over, and we got the little image of Scratch versus Seether on the ferry, drawn by, of course, this part was drawn by Luke, and this one is the variant cover drawn by the illustrious Aaron Lopresti. I've also and I designed this bookmark myself, and so over here, what I've done is I kind of put a personalization spot so that when you get this bookmark, you can write your little name on it so everyone knows that it's yours. So if you leave it somewhere, you're hard at it, you're reading comic books in your local Starbucks or Tim Hortons, and for some reason you just, I don't know, maybe you just leave your little bookmark behind, it'll have your little name right there. Assuming you're going to put your name on there. As for me, I'm not personalizing these for you. That's up to y'all. So anyway, yeah, I'm really pleased to how these turned out. And to those of you, if you're interested and curious, there are different sources that are out there to produce such items. This one was actually produced by Ready Comics. I know a lot of folks, they don't tend to share who or where, like what their sources are, but I don't see the problem with it because honestly, I'm the one who owns these images, and so they're like, this is me that put forth the, everything to get this produced. And not to mention all of these rewards that are associated with my campaign, I'm not selling them to you guys or to the backers. I am simply providing them as a reward for backing me at a certain price tier in order to complete production of this book. I mean, that's what crowdfunding is all about, right? It's not, as Indiegogo says, it's not shopping. You are on the ground floor as a backer. You're on the ground. Blah, blah. As a backer, you are on the ground floor of helping produce something that wouldn't exist without your help. And Duck Bacon says that looks nice. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm extremely pleased with it. And here in a sec, I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to step away for just a moment, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the metal prints that are available. And then I got another cool little story to tell. In the meantime, let's see. Maybe I can. Man, I need to get some more little clips or something in here. So maybe as I'm going over here to prep this, I'll throw this little clip on, and then maybe I can stop it when I feel like. So it's not gonna be for the whole time, but here we go.
Yeah. My name is Benny. I'm on YouTube now. Here's my song about it. I'm playing my guitar to practice being a star. I'm trying to spit rhymes to make those dimes. But in all honesty, it's not about the money. I just think that I'm funny.
All right, there we go. That's Benny. He just thinks that he's funny. Maybe I'll give him a last name of Hikama. Won't that be fun? All right. So anyway, here's here's the actual full-fledged metal print. And these were at one point, they were for sale on the or not for sale. Listen to me. They were rewards. They were under a rewards tier for folks to be able to pick up with the accompanying comic book on the Fund My Comic campaign. Originally with Indiegogo, they were also add-ons, but yeah. So that's good old Scratch, and of course it's in this nice little Mylar little cover here, and then here's the little Presti cover in a metal, wonderful little metal print. Now I'd love to be able to show you the trading cards at this time, but had a little bit of an issue with the trading cards, and that's, I mean, it's one of those things. I chalk it up to me being a new creator, not formatting files properly, or getting them properly oriented as to how the trading card should look. But I don't know. I guess I assume. What's that phrase that's always said in the Phantom Menace? You assume too much. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm making too many assumptions all the time about things, and so I need to stop doing that. That's a terrible habit for someone to have. But yeah. So let's see. So I've got these little tokens here. And then there's another token. That's a lot of hyperdriver tokens. Could be fun, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So anyway, okay. To look at these. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I really don't. So here I am. I'm trying to, talk about one thing, and it's almost like I should bring someone on to chit chat while I'm doing this, instead of putting myself on the spot, right? Let's see. We got a chest. Okay, so there's a chest. There's some arms. There's some legs, and there's a head. There's legs, arms, and a chest. Okay. So there's the full set right there. That's what I want. I like that, even though I won't be using it. So we got, okay, so there's a head, there's a chest, there's arms, and we got legs. I finally actually have some legs, and it's all because I bought a box of boosters. So these I will set to this. Oh, this is a whole set too. Nice. I'll set those to the side for trading. Love trading card games, even though I'm really not good at them. And when we assume, yes, absolutely. And when we assume, make a what out of who. Yeah, that's, I'm guilty as charged. It can be, I don't know, of the things in the world, that type of thing can be problematic. That's the word, right? Problematic. Okay, so we got a proto set. I'm going to put the proto set over here on top of my actual, that's my play set there. And then I'm going to try to create some others to be able to trade off. I'm sure folks will enjoy that whenever I get a chance to do that. But those are on the cutting room floor from my deck because I don't need them. Yes. A donkey. Yeah, right. Yep. A donkey. Donkey. And we got Max Nitro. He's a cool dude. I don't really need any of these tokens, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure I have all of them already in my other cards. Teklovison and Banksy. Cool stuff. Yeah, so these are the chase cards that I got for those of you who are in the know or even care about this stuff. This is what's known as a cold foil, and they're highly sought after. And in this whole box, this was the one cold foil I got. It's a piece of equipment for this particular class of character, so I'm going to put it in my. This is actually probably going to be a money card, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty darn money, but we'll see. And then there's these 3 Majestics. One of them's a foil Majestic. And so these are some other money cards. They don't exist in this set as characters to actually play. These are kind of like a nod towards other classes in this set that's pretty much centered around a single class. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to bore too many people with too many details with that stuff. Yeah, that's, and that's something else. I'm very cognizant of how all these other creators, they'll sit down and they'll do an EFAP, right? Every frame a pause. For the longest time, I didn't realize what EFAP was. I thought it was a perverted thing, but yeah, they'll say every frame a pause. And so I would love to try to EFAP something, but I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like if I were to EFAP the wrong thing, someone could, hit me with a copyright strike. Like I don't know the rules about such a thing, or even reaction videos and stuff like that. Of course, maybe what I'm really talking about here is when a person expends all their energy doing all this stuff to try to hype up or try to bring attention to certain things, certain aspects, and even certain comic books, right? So here I am with Chrome Dog, doing my thing with Chrome Dog. I found myself running this race to try to keep people's attention, right? But what do I have to show, right? Like I don't have a book produced yet fully, right? So it's kind of counterintuitive, because if I spend all my time doing running the race, it leaves me no time for the creative aspects of what I'm here to do. And so I've had to do a whole lot of soul searching. That's why you haven't seen me around much, and you certainly haven't seen me live streaming much, is because I'm trying to find a place where I can just do nothing but create, right? And even that's hard because life happens, things happen in life, and I have a day job, and the day job's responsibilities and role, my roles and everything have expanded in that regard. So it's really difficult to balance everything already. But the thing is, I've been taking stock, I've been looking around, seeing what people, how all of us indie creators are doing. Everyone's doing their thing, and I'm just learning that I need to just hang back until and make the stuff, and which is kind of I don't want to say it's a segue necessarily, but I definitely, as an aside, I have started drawing more and trying to make a serious start at making my own art. I am an artistic person. I just need to hone that skill. And I'm a believer that, you know, what people consider talent is, I believe, and this may be controversial, I don't care. I really don't care what people think about what I'm about to say. But I believe talent is the thing that makes a person, um, it keeps a person fully engaged in the thing, right? So, like for example, to me, I would like to think of myself as a talented writer because the writing is what keeps me engaged. Um, Art, drawing, things like that, I'm learning to become more engaged, but it's not like that's not my first love. My first love is actually developing the stories. So as an artist, I don't plan to draw, my goal is not to end up, drawing like Dale Keown. Okay, that is not my goal. At best, my goal is to be able to draw, you know, and this is going to sound terrible because he's really good, right? But at best, I want to be just south, okay, like not even as talented as Frank Miller, because I mean even he, like in his own way, like he has his own style, he has his own talent, that he employs that keeps his wick burning, and so that's kind of where I'm at with it. And so I just want to, if I can draw well enough to where I can do my own layouts, do my own, and be competent, like, and do competent storytelling, then that's like that I feel like I've achieved what I want to do with my art. Um, and then it's from that, if I could get someone to ink over my pencils or like whatever, at that point it's you know at that point it's all gravy, baby. um that's where, hey, instead of hiring someone to do all of the art for me, I just hire somebody to do the inking. And you know because sorry to disappoint you, boys and girls, but creating indie comics is expensive, unless you produce a majority of what you're doing. And so, when you have to hire everybody who does every single thing, it's yeah, it gets quite expensive. And it also, there's so many variables. Like for example, I mean, I've got Luke Stone is one egg in my basket. And then there's, we've got Patrick Gamma, who's the colorist. He's another egg in my basket, you know, and then there's, Eric Weathers. He's an egg in the basket. And then of course, Luke is also doing pre-press and all that. Like he's making everything ready to print. I mean, essentially Chrome Dog would not be existing right now if Luke hadn't just kind of taken it upon himself to help me out, in a very substantial way beyond just being an artist for me. So mad props to him for that. And so, but Duck Bacon says Frank Miller back in the day or Frank Miller now. So okay, I've got a take on that, I think. So if you're talking about the Wolverine covers, or the Wolverine cover, I think honestly, I think he drew a cover, and I think the colorist did him a disservice for whatever reason. I think whoever designed that cover, and I don't even think the colorist is the one to blame. I think it's just whoever did the cover design totally shortchanged his art, and basically displayed it in the worst possible light, in my opinion. But as far as like storytelling, I don't know. I don't have anything to go by in the modern era. I haven't read anything that he's done lately. I don't know anything about. I've only heard the very enthusiastic Rob Liefeld talk about Ronin. So I don't. Beyond that, like it's all hearsay for me. So, and again, I know it, and it may sound kind of harsh or whatever, but I'm not really that engaged in current comics beyond those in our own indie space. So like I don't go out of my way to buy comics that aren't, for example, Comicsgate or Iron Age affiliated. And even then, I have to be very selective because most of my budget goes into Chrome Dog. I can't, that's because I'm serious about this, right? I'm serious about at the very least providing a product to my customers in a timely fashion, and I can't do that if I'm spending all my money on on it, and I can't do that if I'm spending their money, which of course I am not a part of doing. But I don't, because to me, if someone trusts me with backer funds, that is strictly for production. So I have to, not only do I take that seriously, but also take my own hobbies seriously. Like for example, I'll give you an example. So these cards here, the money that that went into buying this booster box came from me selling a couple of cards that had some high value. So that's it. Like it went right into it. Now, in another moment, I sold some more high value stuff, and that went right into Chrome Dog. So I mean, I'm pushing money, my money that I get from what I do, right into my own project. So I mean, it's not like I'm definitely, I'm making sure that I stretch every dollar as much as I can, especially now that I'm learning all these expensive lessons as a first-time indie creator. So anyway, I know I'm probably babbling at this point. I'm like, I don't know, one sheet to the wind, as they say. Just trying to relax on a Friday evening after one heck of a week at work. It's been pretty wild lately. Right, let's see. Try this one out. It's funny. StreamYards is talking about backgrounds, right? It's telling me, it says video backgrounds are now supported in the studio. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't add a background until I actually become a subscriber. Or wait. No. Okay, I feel like there's some kind of shenanigans. Is there shenanigans? Are they actually giving me something? Okay. Well, let me see. All right, cool. Okay. Well, anyway, so cool. I got some backgrounds on the freebie, on the cheap, as they say. Babylon. Duck Bacon. He says Babylon. Well, Babylon 5. No, when you said Babylon, I was thinking of that. I think it's Led Zeppelin, where he's like, ramble on. do, sing my song. All right, I promise I won't sing anymore. And that might even be a little too loud. Shoot, what is this? Night at the Apollo. All right, here we go. But yeah, so and so with that, right, with my artistic journey, I look forward to actually doing my own draw streams so that people can see me progress as I go along. I mean, hey, I got nothing to lose just to put it all out there, right? So I mean, I might as well do something with that instead of like sitting, behind my own little, my little area. Or maybe I'll just do draw videos, right? That might even be better. Because that's the other thing, boys and girls, ladies and gents, is that streaming is overrated. The cool kids, the ones that are going to get more subscribers, are the ones that actually make videos and create quality content. And that's another, like, again, more creative juice being spent doing something else besides creating the thing that I'm here to create. So I mean, that's, I don't know, man. Like, I'm gonna go back to, again, I guess this may sound a little ranty, but I feel like we've been placed into this hamster wheel, as the new fledgling indie comics creators. We've been told by the big guys, these pros that have come from the industry, that are themselves, in a sense, feeling their way through the dark, because they came from multi-billion-dollar industries or multi-million-dollar industries, whichever time period that they were in, into this space. And yes, they're running their businesses, but they're at heart, they're artists, right? Artists first. Like me, I'm not a writer first. I'll be the first to admit it. I am a well, you could say I'm a husband first, and I'm a father first, before I even get, like, writer is so far down the list, because I have my day job, so I have that I'm first at. So by the time you get down to, and I don't want to, I'm not treating, I don't want to say that creating indie comics is a hobby, but I guess it has to be relegated to that, because it's not putting the food on the table for me. Now, I don't know what these larger indie comic creators are making on their YouTube channels, nor is it any of my business. But at the same time, I don't have the time or the energy to be able to devote to that, and to trying to manage all the moving parts of project management of making an indie comic. So I don't know if ultimately what the advice that we get from both large and smaller creators, to always be streaming, or always be building your channel, or always be doing this thing, I don't know if that's exactly helpful for those of us who don't yet have a product that has been produced. It's almost like, okay, we just need to go out here, we need to grind, spend our own money, do our own thing, have the book almost, at least either almost completely done or just completely done. And it's like, hey, and we invest in ourselves, and then we put it out there, and we say, okay, we've fed this cow long enough, and we're going to put it out to pasture, and hopefully, and then when we get it to the auction, we'll have people buying it, and I think maybe that's the approach. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. So yes, I still plan on doing more with my Substack, but again, it goes back to, if I'm investing all of my energy, because, okay, here's another thing, and I know artists are probably going to, like, roll their eyes at me, but that's fine. I don't care. Writing is difficult. Okay. Anyone who says that writing is easy is just malinformed. Now, in the act of writing, like as you're writing, okay, if you're like me, there's a level of satisfaction there that can't be, like, it can't write, like I can't find anything that makes me feel better about myself in the moment as creating things in the writing process, period. Okay, full stop. However, it still makes it difficult to make it, even though I'm right. Let's say, for example, I'm building a world using using stream of consciousness. I still have to come back and look at it again and make it coherent for people, for someone else to read it, okay, including dialogue, etc. And that's hard. Like, all of that is hard. It's so plotting is simple. Okay, I'm not going to say easy. I'm just going to say simple. Plotting a story is relatively simple. It's the actual, getting in there and drilling down into the story, and trying to make things work, trying to see if something works, and trying to determine if it's going to work, this or that. And then also, if I'm writing for Substack, coming up with a topic that's interesting and engaging for the reader, right? Something, and trying to attack it in a way that's going to be fresh and different from how many other people have, torn that particular subject apart. That takes a lot of energy as well. So it's kind of like, we've got to come to a place. Okay, so first things first. Do I have a product? am I going, in what it, how am I going to produce it? How much is it going to cost me? All these things need to be weighed before you even begin to consider creating a YouTube channel or some way, some platform to get your name out there. You got to have something in hand to hand somebody. That is my take on all of this. It's also much easier for me to speak here in this informal setting than it is to try to formulate my words into sentences, coherent sentences, and paragraphs in a Substack post. But I do have a tendency to ramble. But I'm all right. So we got firewall. All right. So yeah, they don't give you a lot of what you need in one box. It's almost like you got to buy a case, which is fine. I just don't have that kind of cash. This is a really cool looking card. It's a badass looking guy too. I don't know if y'all can see the rainbow foiling on that. It's great. Looks really cool in person. But it's a majestic rare. That's cool. It's a mechanologist block. So see, I'm trying to get them all put in their proper places. We got a red, put the red in front, and then we got a red in front with 2 yellows behind it, cognition field, and then this guy. We'll go ahead and just put that over there. I might just put that majestic over there with the others. Okay, I'm just basically going through and putting this stuff in order before I get into the nitty gritty. What do we got? Dude, seriously? Voice of it. Oh, you must have been about me singing. I think Indy Smith and I'm sorry, Indy Smith. You heard it here first. Andy Smith and Dennis are on to something with their shows. You're probably right, and I think I went to Heroes Con this year, and I got a chance to meet and not only meet but kind of hang out with the two of them for a while. And I can tell you, Dennis really has a gift of gab. Because he was really chatting up my wife, and it was kind of funny. And I'm not even like there's no jealousy at all. I just think it's really funny how much he was just talk. Of course, very engaging. I kind of looked over at them. They were engaged in lots of conversation. While Andy and I were talking, while Andy was drawing some commission stuff. Oh man, what is his name? Vaughn. Oh gosh. I'm gonna wind up getting murdered later. Figuratively, of course. Dadgum, what is his name? Vaughn Coleman. Yes, Vaughn Coleman. So I had a chance to talk to him, and so while we were talking, Andy was doing a commission for him. So it was kind of funny, and Andy and I got a chance to chit chat. Really cool. That whole show was great. Like I got to meet Dan Frega. I also got to meet Billy Tucci. Oh my gosh. Looking back on it, like I really wish I had more time, because we what it is my wife and I, we'd started our vacation that day. Actually it was the night before, and so we I think it was, hold on, I've slept since then. I remember what the original plan was. I think we just got up early that morning, so it was still that same day. But yeah, so we that was our first stop, up the East Coast, and so we went to Heroes Con, and I got to meet all these awesome creators, and then had them sign different comics that they did throughout their career. And it's really just for me to have as kind of a memento of meeting them. I don't, full disclosure, most of my comics are like, they're already kind of creased and this and that, so I'm not worried about any kind of like value that might be extracted from them. it's like I remember there was one a certain creator. I'm not going to name any names, but he's an industry professional. And if I named his name, people would be like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy." But he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He you know he was going to charge me like, I want to say it was like $10 for a signature, which I mean, okay, it's $10, right? Okay, cool. But we were at a little rinky-dink, not Heroes Con. Okay, this thing was a little rinky-dink, kind of podunked comic convention here in Tennessee. And here's this guy going to charge me $10 for his signature. Never mind that I'm having him sign something that is not even like, it's got creases, like it's like, and I have no, like, I do not want to, I'm not one that grades things. Like, I believe that comics exist for one thing or two things. One is to read it, and two is to share it. Okay. And and as I do, I want to say it's just about every stream I show or I do. I blow the dust off of this thing. But this is probably going to be the only CGC comic that I own. It's actually cracked here on the side, which gave, I was able to get this thing at a really good deal off of a buddy of mine. But it is a newsstand copy. Okay, I've yet to find one in the wild beyond this one. All the other ones that I find is just, it doesn't have this. It's a direct copy. So when it has that barcode, it's a newsstand copy, and this one's a 9.4. And yeah, it's got the little crack down here, whatever. But I mean, the comic is pristine in there, and I happen to love Pitt, right? So I mean, it was like, duh, I'm gonna buy this off of my buddy, and he sold it to me for like $15. It was nothing. And so that's the only thing that I ever want to own that is graded, because I have, I think two more copies of that I can flip through if I like, as I like, that are not newsstand copies. And it's not, that's the thing, I just love the fact that it exists. I had no idea that it was put on a newsstand. Like, I mean, what an achievement during that time, even, right? To be able to have Image Comics on newsstands. What? I mean, I don't even know how Dale Keown was able to pull that one off. I should probably do a little more research, because I don't think everyone else. Watch out for Dennis. He's a stud. Yeah, I know. He'd probably say the same thing for sure. But yeah, he's a cool dude. Dang, I just realized this thing's bright. Let me flip it over. Well, shoot, that's kind of bright too. Or maybe I don't know, that makes everything kind of green, don't it? Yeah, I don't know. Here, maybe I'll just move it. It is kind of bright. I mean, it doesn't help that it's metallic. It's like a metallic silver. So, I mean, that's the other side. Whatever. But yeah, it's like, to me, all right, I guess this stream is all about soapbox. It's Agent Zero soapbox time. So here we go. We're gonna go. I'm gonna get on another tangent. If I can keep my train of thought going, geez. I think it's the Heineken Silver talking back. Dang, I lost it. I think I lost it. It's somewhere in there. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. Dadgummit. I'll get it back. I'll find it. It'll be somewhere in this little brain of mine. Just give me a minute. I'll have to do some pondering, some noodling. All right, I think I'll put the backup protocols together, regardless of color. Megahertz script. Look at this. This is the coolest looking card. It's got, oh, there we go. That's so cool. Because some of these foils are just, oh my gosh, like chef's kiss for sure. Okay, Hadron Colliders. Oh, yes. This is another one that's like so cool in real life. All right, let me get back on track, Justin. Come on, you can do it. Let's see, soapbox. It's going to be talking about the hell. Where was I? I wish I could like stop and then like back this thing up so I can remember where the hell I was. Okay. I probably shouldn't be sorting cards while I'm a little bit. There we go. Hyperdrivers. Boom. Boom grenade. Megahertz script. Mini force field. Security script. Dang it. What was it? It was okay. We're talking. Oh, okay. Got it. Trading cards. Yeah, we got it. Trading cards. All right. So here's my soapbox. I remember when I was a kid, I collected trading cards. And I was really into Marvel Universe trading cards. I like the DC Cosmic Teams trading cards. I thought that all that stuff was just super cool. I had the X-Men. Actually, had a full set of X-Men, which now looking back on it, I kind of regret. I traded it off last year, I think it was, because I got on this weird kick with G.I. Joe. Never mind the fact that the G.I. Joe cards, they didn't even have any like any foils or anything. There were no chase cards in that set. So, and it's kind of boring as I think about it. And, you know, depending on what, like, if you guys want to see my G.I. Joe cards, I've got the full set. I wound up getting enough boosters, which of all the boosters I got, I still wound up short a few cards. So thanks to eBay, some really cool sellers on there, they actually, you know, were able to hook me up. So I did manage to fill out a full set, but now I don't want them. So yeah, looking to offload those. But anyway, with trading cards. So as a kid, right, trading cards, there's image on this side, images on this side, lettering, blah, 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 right? Single card, okay? Now, the modern day trading card for us adults, unless you play a game like this, is this. This is a trading card. A single big card in a big piece of slab plastic that you cannot open unless you want to degrade said card. Never mind that it is a comic book. It has multiple pages, right? That one, I forget the page count on that, but I'm like, I think it's at least 20 pages of story plus ads and everything else that's in there. So, I mean, so is that what we were reduced to when it comes to comic books? Is that why people don't really care what's between the pages? They only care about making the cover art. And when I say they, I'm talking about the industry, as in the like big two, you know, the ones that are out there doing the gimmick. Well, shoot, it's really hard to speak on this because I'm not talking about those of you that are in our indie space, whether it be at Comicsgate or Iron Age. Okay, I'm not speaking to you, and I'm not speaking to those of you who are not even in those camps, but are in, you know, perhaps some that are either adjacent or somewhat, you know, in the similar vein as us, right, as indie creators. I'm talking about the ones that are, you know, it's all about the speculator market, right? It's all about trying to cash in on people's thoughts of, oh, this is the number one, so I need to get it, and then I'm going to slab it, and I'm never going to read it. So they don't care what the story is in between the covers. They just care about, you know, the juice of the character, right? How much does the character, does the character matter in the current zeitgeist? That's what they care about. Why? Because that's what adds or subtracts from the value of the daggone book that they just bought, that they just had to have because it was a number one, and they sent it to the CGC immediately instead of cracking it open. And no, they didn't bother to buy any for them to actually read. They took every single one of the 10 variant covers and sent them all to be CGC graded. Why? Because they got some tip from some guy, some industry insider that said this is going to be the one to keep, blah 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 blah. Never mind that there's no such thing as key issues anymore, or there are key issues that people try to say are key issues, like, I don't know, the death of a certain stretchy super heroine who is not really the original Miss Marvel, but is some sort of surrogate version or counterfeit version of Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man or Elastic Man, Elongated Man, blah blah blah, like fill in a blank, Stretch Armstrong, whatever. I mean, come on, that's not Miss Marvel. I'm in that full stop. Anyway, I guess I did go a little ranty there. Ms. Marvel. That's a really interesting point. That's okay. Full disclosure, like, that's how I've felt when I've come back to comic books. That is how I felt. I have felt that everybody is all about the chase. It's all about trying to find that card. Okay, this is a prime example. You buy a booster box or you buy a booster case, right? A case has 4 boxes in it. Out of those 4 boxes, you're supposed to be guaranteed 1 legendary rarity card. Okay, and that legendary rarity card, if it's the one you want, is supposed to help you get an edge in the game. And if it's not the one you want, you can perhaps use it as cred to try to trade for the one that you want. Okay, and those things, based on their rarity and popularity, determine how much someone is willing to pay for said thing, right? And I need to find my Hadron Collider, which, what's funny? These aren't even like, I've probably got a full playset of the Hadron Colliders at this point, between these and this deck over here. But we'll get there. I just want to get these. I want to get these sorted before I continue on. But yeah, Ms. Marbles. I like that. That's cute. But yes. And again, Carol Danvers, I don't even care about her. Like, to me, there is no Captain Marvel except for Marvel, and then his original replacement, which was Monica Rambeau, which, if anyone was ever paying attention about the comic books from the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, you would know that Monica Rambeau she took the moniker of Captain Marvel, but her powers were completely different. They had a completely different source than Captain Marvel. I'm not 100% sure exactly how she got her powers, but I know that they were separate and distinct and did not have anything to do with Marvel. And it worked. I think if I had any criticisms about her, was her costume. I'm not really sure why they decided to go black and white. It seems kind of boring, but I don't know. Of course, the whole blue and red was probably way overplayed at that point. I mean, I could, and that's, I mean, I don't know. And might I even add that I think Captain Marvel originally, Captain Marvel, he died because no one cared to buy his books, as far as I remember. Like, he was not energizing people. Like, no one really cared about Captain Marvel. No one really, I say no one, I'm sure, I mean, every superhero has a fan base. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say they don't, because they do. Just like Chrome Dog's going to have his fan base, the closer and a wild card will have their fan bases, I imagine. So will Thunder Horse eventually. Eventually, once these characters that I've created become things, I'm sure people are going to be more fans of one than the other. But yeah, Marvel, he didn't he didn't do it for a lot of folks. And so they killed him off in the comics, and so he should have just stayed gone, which he did, as far as I understand. I mean, they might have brought him back one or two times, but then we get this Carol Danvers version, which was his laboratory love interest. And then here she goes. She takes up the quote unquote mantle and becomes this person. Let's see. Becomes a Captain Marvel. Evo Engine Room. See, I don't know what's... So, okay. So here we go. We got... Just for those interested, and for those who aren't, please humor me. So in this game, we've got... so there's Evo head. Okay, so Evo Cog Splitter. So this one's an instant. So this is actually... There's a set in here. There's multiple sets. So I have to find the other instant arm or instant equipments. Okay, so Whiz Bang, Zoom Call. So these go together. Zip Line, that goes together. Evo Buzz Hive. Okay, so there's the set. That's the set of those cards. So these are the ones. That's a complete set. And so we're going to keep going. This Soul Processor. That's another Majestic. I may or may not want to keep. I really like to trade them off when I can. Duck Bacon says, I really dug the original Carol Danvers when her Psyche made an appearance in Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, I'd really like to, and he says, I love that. Of course, that was written by Claremont. Right. Yeah, I really need to go back and check that out. I wonder what made them decide to go with her. I think if I had a chance to ask him, I would be very interested in trying to understand like what caused him to choose Carol Danvers to be the one that Rogue was going to suck all that power from, and eventually end up with Flight, because she pretty much like takes her soul, if memory serves, because she kills her, as far as I remember. So like, or at least takes her to the edge of death, and she ends up being able to fly from then on. Yeah, talk about a sad mutant power. I can't imagine having a power where if I touch someone, I remove, like I drain their essence of who they are or what they are. I mean, whew. And the sheer sadness, bittersweetness of her relationship with Gambit. I guess that's why they work so well, because he's got this like almost seemingly endless reserve of energy, kinetic energy flowing through his body at any given time. So I guess it works out, Let's see. What is this? Night driving? I don't know. I guess that's cool. Smooth boy. See, I guess these are supposed to. I mean, because the art style is very similar, so I think these belong together. So maybe. Okay. So then we got the sentry parts, sentry chest. Okay. So that's all one set. The Evo Command Center, smooth bore engine room. Yeah, that sounds right. And then data mine, charging rods, and battery pack cog splitter. So that's another set. So that's the Evos for what they're worth. All right, now we get to move to the attacks. So I've done everything else. This pile right here, these are all my duplicates and things, trade fodder, as it were. This pile is going to grow as we continue. Let's see, what's going on the Twitter? Here's an odd question. Here, let me do this. Let me do that. tell you what, I'm going to show off a little bit of art while I'm sitting here fiddling with these cards. How's that sound? So I've got Chrome Dog, Perfect Strangers #1, pages 11 and 12 colored now. So yeah, we'll just bring this over, do the thing, and we'll present that sucker. How's that sound? Just so you guys can see it. There we go. Page 11. Boom. And then let me see if I want to change the background. We're going to hide that. Delete background. I'm going to add a background. Oh, those are all on premium or whatever. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll do that one. I mean, color-wise, it kind of fits. It might be a little distracting, but anyway. So yeah, this is page 11. So to those of you who have been able to check out the 10-page ashcan, this is page 11. This is the immediate page after we see the battle finished between Chrome Dog and this mysterious bad guy with glowing pink eyes and what looks like these little rock chunks kind of poking through his skin. I've named him in other times, but I think right now I'm gonna keep the air of mystery about him. But he does factor into Chrome Dog's future endeavors. But yeah, so this is so what we see here, on the other hand, is across town we see this is Bad Clown, and he's talking to his Goombas. He's talking to his goon, so to speak. This guy right here is his name's Hector, and he may or may not figure pretty prominently later on in the story. Not necessarily in this book. But in future issues, I look forward to exploring what role he plays in the greater narrative. So, but yeah, so Bad Clown, he's kind of doing his thing. He's giving his guys the marching orders this morning, and he's interrupted by someone over his intercom. So of course he dismisses them, and then they go do their thing. And then here he is talking on his fancy phone. He's living large, being a bad clown that he is. And people might say that he's a discount joker, but that's a complete lack of understanding of who Bad Clown truly is. Where the Joker is all the time trying to instill laughter and or turning life as a joke. Like he's at every turn I've seen it like multiple times where he's trying to get Batman to laugh, and that's why he's so angry all the about Batman this and he's not laughing at his jokes. But then there's the Christopher Nolan where he doesn't like the fact that Batman is Batman represents law and order, where he's all just chaos incarnate and all that stuff. Well, this guy is he couldn't be any further from the truth in both counts. Like so. And to those of you already, or who are already in the know, apologies, but I like to talk about my characters. So with Bad Clown, he hates there's three things in this world that he really, really hates. One, he does not like to be laughed at. And that might be shocking to some of you, but he does not like to be laughed at. His disfigurement, that's what this is. He's disfigured, and he can't help what he is or what he looks like. So he hates to be laughed at. He hates to be compared with his father. He does not like anyone to compare him to his dad ever. And what's the third one? Oh my gosh, what was the third one? Excuse me, it's on the tip of my tongue. Maybe the beer does a little too much to erase the memory for the moment, at least. What is that third thing? Let's see. He hates to be laughed at. He hates to be compared to his dad. And it'll come to me. Let's see what you have to say there, buddy, Mr. Bacon. Not to be confused with the Kevin Bacon. That run is too excellent to never read Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, I'd love to. Art, sounds, thumbs up. Freaking awesome layout. Hey, yeah, really. So he's a clown store cowboy. Man, what was it? But yeah, so we'll leave it at the two, but there is a third thing, and for whatever reason I'm blanking on it at the moment, which is odd. But the long and short is, if you were to look at him and try to compare him to the Joker, he can't, there is no comparison aside from him looking like a clown. But this guy, he can't help the way he looks. He was disfigured through an accident. He wasn't dumped into a vat of chemicals. Instead, he was exploded in a massive citywide bombing that took place. And he was wearing a mask at the time, and suffered significant burns. And the mask, had adhered itself to his face, and so his dad, who was a big don of the city that blew up, that is, he managed to get his guys to come in and get him over to his doctor, who, unbeknownst to him, was this mad scientist guy, and he wound up fixing him, but it was with a price, because he was experimenting on him as he fixed him. When he did, the mask kind of molecularly bonded with him, so it's more than just a mask now. It's just, that's his actual skin, and so he has powers in a way where if someone were to shoot him, the bullets bounce off of him in a really kind of cartoony way. I liken him a little bit to the Mask in that he seeks to he doesn't want to be wacky, but he comes across as very wacky. He wants to be taken seriously, but his facial expressions are not very appropriate to the situation. And so there's times when he may be dead serious, but his eyes betray him and make it seem like he's somehow joking about something, and so it's it kind of it will not end up well for someone who laughs too long at his joke. But yeah, here he is. He's having a conversation with a certain somebody, and you just have to read the book to find out who he's talking to. And so far, full disclosure, these are the only 2 pages that have been colored of the rest of the 32. But I've been assured that we should be done by November 15th with the colors. And then it's only a matter of days once it gets handed off to Eric Weathers for the lettering. So yeah. Let me. Also, with this particular layout, this was all Luke's idea. he liked the idea of doing this almost like pictures being laid down on a page to kind of denote just how like crazy this guy is. And as far as the layout of this, I mean, the colors add such a dimension to it. Even though I'm a huge fan of black and white, this it's one of those things, man. Patrick Gamma. I mean, he's a hell of a colorist. I'll give him that. And after the experience that I've had with others, that's truly saying a lot. Because it's making a comic book is not easy. If I hadn't said it already enough in this conversation tonight, conversation of 1 plus 1 in the chat, and also just real quick, by the way, if you like what I'm doing in this video, or if you like anything that I'm saying in this video, please give us a like. Please consider subscribing, and by all means, share it out. Put it on the old Instagram, which I'm reminded, thanks to Duck Bacon not being a part of the Twitter sphere or the X. What is it, Royce, over there in Iron Age? He calls it Twix, I think. He's probably not the only one. A bunch of people probably call it Twix, or Twitter X. But yeah, just share it out, please. It's really cool to be able to get the word out, especially when I'm talking about my boy Chrome Dog, and all the plights of an indie comics producer who doesn't draw the comics that he's producing. He hires people. Sorry for going Jeff Goldblum on you there for a second. Man, you know what? Man. Okay. This is getting ridiculous. These are a lot of different attack types. It's crazy. Maybe I should. Okay, all right. I'm gonna put all the scraps in one pile, and then I'll do the thing. I should have done that already. He's an Evo upgrade. There he is. This guy's there. Wretched. Galvanize. That's all good. Okay. Infused titanium is a galvanized card. Another one. Scrap. So the borders kind of help me determine what's what. And this is a scrap card. That's a galvanized card. Which they both have they both have the same border. But anyway. Rev up. Dive through data. I didn't see another one. Dive through data. Boost card. Bull bar. Spring Elite. Okay. Wow, this is alright, so anyway. Go over here. What's the pixel count on a usual page? That's a great question. I don't know. Pixels. I could probably get you that answer, which leads me to another thing. So we've been paying for a few years now. We had a student discount because my son has been homeschooled, but we had a student discount for Adobe, and he's been taking advantage of that. But I find it just extremely it's complex in ways that shouldn't be, I think. And again, it's another skill, another way to expend energy in producing stuff. And so I our um, subscription is coming up, for renewal again. And I thought, you know what? I think now I'm gonna take a look at this um, Clip Studio and try to see if I can, if there's anything that both of us can reap from in Clip Studio. And boy, howdy, immediately, we did was get the little trial of it. And, okay, so this is full tilt. I thought I saw full tilt. Where's it at? There it is. Dumpster dive, lay waste, gas guzzler. So yeah, so I, my son. Oh, this dude is that good. Okay, hold on. Twix, yeah. Yo, good Joe, welcome in. This dude deck building. Honestly, I'm just sorting my cards at the moment, but yeah, I will be building a deck. I'll be building a classic constructed deck for Flesh and Blood. Just while I'm talking, I mean, here's that's what you're going to get here is content that is unlike the other shows, I suppose. I mean, at least I'm trying to make myself somewhat distinct, and I definitely don't want to be a negative place, even though I think tonight I've had a few rants about different things, and have perhaps spoken a little more negatively than I normally do. But I just, I feel like sometimes we're given bad information when it comes to promotion and everything else. So, but yeah, so back to Clip Studio. So I have a tablet. It's a laptop that you can kind of like turn, open up and like flip around, and once you do, it becomes a tablet. And so I have that, and it has a little writing instrument that it came with, and I use that with Clip Studio. It was like super easy to navigate, super easy to use. My son, he likes to animate, so that's kind of his bailiwick, and so we decided to do these trials of Clip Studio, and I really think it's going to work out for what I need it for. In the realm of drawing, like going digital, I completely understand why people want to draw digitally, and so I think I'm going to make a serious start doing that. I'm right here at the ground floor, learning art as a writer. So what better time for me to kind of jump in that regard than now? So here I am. I'll not sure I can say that I will like always live stream like all of my art production, but I mean, it'll be, as I go along, maybe I'll do, streams of the course that I'm following. There's a guy on here on YouTube. His name's Mark Brunet, I think, Brunet, and his first name's Marc, I believe. But he has a YouTube channel. It's called YouTube Art School, or at least that's what he calls it. It's his channel is his name, so Mark Brunet, and or Brunet maybe. But he's an industry professional who has decided to stake his life now creating content to help fledgling artists up their game. And so he's got a really cool course. You can either you can pay for it, do his thing, and actually like pay for his course, or you can just follow his videos. And so I've started following his videos. He has one right now that where you can get better in 30 days at doing art. And let me see if I can. I'll share my screen, show off some art here again. Go back over here, do this thing. I'm sure you don't want to see these cards the whole time. You're like, what is that? What's Flesh and Blood? What am I even looking at? Why am I even here? But yeah, so I'm working out this course where, every day there's something new for me to practice. And so within 30 days, I'll be able to be somewhat competent to like continue on with drawing. And so like the first, you know what, actually, I'll tell you what, you definitely, definitely know Burnett. Billy Basco did a mentorship with him. Sweet. That is so damn cool. Oh, Joe. Oh my gosh, Joe Catapano. I hope I said that right. Man, it's good to see you, man. That piece that you sent me. I just recognized you, Vera Villa. Yeah. That piece that you sent me, I have stepped away for a second, but I have it inspires me, man. I've got this sketchbook, right, where I'm doing my thing, and so, but right here I put it's got this little pocket, and I put your art right there just for me to look at from time to time whenever I go to open my sketchbook and do physical stuff. But that's so cool. Well, I appreciate you coming by, man. I've just been ranting and raving as I'm expressing my woes at having my first campaign be a late one. But as long as I feel like as long as I keep people in the loop, everything will be okay. Once we get the book out, everything will be fine. It's just I don't like making a promise and not being able to keep it. So yeah, it kind of hits me in the feels in that regard. I'm a man of integrity, and I don't. I just nope, that's wrong. Let's see. Yeah, I'm a man of integrity, and I want to, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, or die trying, that kind of thing. And I don't like having to admit that the book's going to be late, especially since I'm with Arrow Comics, and it's not just I'm not just a one-man show here. I mean, we've got other creators, and I don't want it to look negatively towards the rest of our crew there at Arrow. Let's see. Yeah, I know. Probably not real high energy today. Okay, Evo upgrades. I guess I'll put those together. So this is Flesh and Blood. Not sure if you know anything about it. Oh, wait, let's go back here. Good Joe says, awesome. I coloring up for Bancroft art contest. Did you finish coloring it? Best of luck with drawing. I'm working on how to draw hands video right now. Oh, nice. Heck yeah. Yeah. So, have you finished the artwork for his for Bancroft's contest yet? Because I'd be very interested in seeing what that looks like. Yeah, so I got the Met art, the Met X. Like, a lot of these aren't even going to go in my deck. I actually got a chance to play my deck a few in several games the other night, and it was jank. It really was. It was not good at all. Of course, I'm a janky player anyway. Oh. Joe says, not yet. It's due in November. It's not the only thing due in November, sir. Gotta run, get some food. Well, yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Seriously. Bottom of my heart, man. And good luck with Starlink and or Star Circuit. Sorry, Star Circuit issue number 2. I think it's still up there for sign up. If I had my wits together, I'd be able to throw a link in the chat. Do apologize on that. Let's see what I can do. Let's see if I can fix it in post, as they say. Because I'm a man of my word. Have a good one, Joe. Yeah, so Razzle Dazzle. Yeah, so here we are. All right. Yeah, so this is kind of like the more boring part of the like, now that I have everything sorted, it's kind of like going through. It's like, okay, well, what's going to work for me? What's not going to work for me? Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. So we got these are scrap. Scrap is a certain ability that does a certain something. Galvanize is something else. Galvanize, I want to make sure we put all the galvanize together, put all the scrap together. Soup Up is in the galvanized department. Oh my gosh. Junkyard Dog is scrap, and scrap. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna put those with the Evo because probably not anything I'm interested in doing with my life. In Flesh and Blood, that is. So Overloop, not something I'm overly excited to keep. So these are going to go over here because I already have a full play set and then some of that card. Outpace, not a bad card. Pretty good stuff. It's not expensive. It's got good dividends. Lay it to the side. Burn Rubber. If you boosted 2 or more times this turn, this gets +2 and can't be defended by equipment. That's a nice one. Hydraulic press is scrap, so it's going to go in the scrap pile. No pun intended there. So yeah, Indie Comics production. Let's see. I don't know. I don't follow anybody fun, or I don't. I don't typically like to look at crazy videos. I feel like, that's mind numbing. It's almost like let's see. Man, I got all kind of people like talking to me. Okay. So yeah, Chrome Dog. And Chrome Dog could exist in this little world, maybe. There is some cyberpunk stuff being introduced into this game. It's kind of funny. I don't know if you folks have ever heard of Flesh and Blood, but it is a card game that, unlike other games where you have to have resources that and you can make or break yourself, not be able to get enough resources out on the field. This one, most of the cards, all the cards in your deck are going to have some resource value that you can use. You can basically spend cards to play cards, is ultimately how it works. When you spend a card, it actually goes on the bottom of your deck, so you'll see it again later on. So it is, the mechanics are there for that, but it is a very aggressive game. I had a buddy of mine recently, he rage quit because he couldn't play anything. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm blocking with everything, so I can't play with anything. It's like, oh wow, look at this. I found a whole bunch more of these wonderful, oh my gosh. Yeah. Keep the beer away from Agent Zero when he's trying to do the thing with the cards. Dadgummit. Oh well. Let's see what I can do here. Dang. Well, are these attacks? I think so. Oh man, okay. Alright. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll put these in piles. So, Evo upgrade. Got you. I don't like to get political. I'm trying to think of some kind of topic to talk about. I think Nicholson's Joker said it best when he said, "This town needs an enema." And I would say that about Washington, DC, that is. But seriously, folks, Let's see, galvanize cards. Okay. And these are all Evos, so we'll put all the Evo stuff with the Evo upgrades. Okay, these are just regular Evos. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he's like, boring, get to it, get to the point. Oh, Duck says, I'm back, just trying to deal with a not so trained dog. Yeah. Tell you what, man, cherish that dog. Regardless, any of you out there with pet owners, just love on your animal extra for me, please, because we recently had to have ours put to sleep because she had some issues that were not very treatable. They were treatable for a time, and then they would kind of like resurface and come back, and so yeah, we had to do the thing because she got to the point where she was just really suffering. So, but anyway, I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer or a agent. No, I can't think of an A word. That would be a downer. Man, these are some cool looking cards. Annihilator engine, that looks really nasty. And it's a Mythera Majestic. I'll put it over there. It's another hydraulic press. Oh, wow, so that means I got 3 of these bad boys. Razzle dazzle on the microphone, I babble funky words into a puzzle. Let's see. He says, we just lost 2 in 1 year due to old age and cancer. Yeah, well, I wasn't going to say the C word, but yep, that's exactly what it was. Oh boy, here's another one that might get me in trouble with YouTube. But I'm just going to tell you, there's certain medical procedures that vets require that you have your pet do before they go under the knife or do anything with them. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but it's a certain medical procedure thing that they require, and I have a distinct feeling that particular procedure, while it's something simple and humans do it all the time, I don't think it's good for us or animals to have it done. And I really think that the toxicity in her body is what contributed to the cancers. So, and this next surgery she was going to have, they pretty much said, hey, she's going to have this thing, and if she doesn't have this thing, she can't have the surgery. And it's like, okay, cool, you're about to give her something that's going to make her bad again, or keep her bad, keep her sick. So it's like, okay, well, she's suffering anyway, so we might as well just make the hard decision. So anyway, all right, I don't want to talk too much on that. Let's see, comic books. I'm trying to think of if there's Punisher. Let's talk about Punisher, shall we? I have been noodling on this new character that I've created, the Closer, for a while, and I am I'm digesting so many different crime fiction, so many different angles, so many different things that have to do with the concept of a detective. Because my character, I've said that I've made it. I've stated. Before we move on, Duck Bacon says, I totally agree, and I imagine that has to do with the certain medical procedure that vets require for your pets. And I'm not talking about spaying, because you can only spay once. Anyway, so this character, the Closer, even though I say that he's my Frank Castle analog, that's not exactly fair, because he's going to be his own person. Like he's not going to be the same type of homicidal maniac I'm sorry to say, Frank Castle is a homicidal maniac. Yes, he may have the best intentions, and yes, he is a soldier first, right? I mean, or a Marine in his case first. And he did everything that he could at any given time to prevent the death of what he terms as innocents. He still would kill people who committed crimes, regardless of, in many cases, regardless of how small those crimes were. Um, and I want to have a character who has a little more class than that. Someone who makes sure that he's sure that the guilty are the ones that get punished, and that the punishment suits the crime. Because I think that's one of the things that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Frank Castle, as much as he's the Punisher, I don't think, I mean, he was too quick to kill people, instead of actually, like, and yes, there were moments where he gave mercy, and usually it was enough rope for that person to hang themselves, because they would wind up, right back into what they were doing. But still, do I think, like, okay, let me give you an example. Do I think that a drug pusher, do I believe that a drug pusher deserves the death penalty? That's a tough one, right? Now, Frank looks at it, Frank Castle looks at it and says, hell yeah, he does. And so he does it. Like, it's not a thing for him. But to me, the rapist, or the murderer, right? Those are the ones that deserve it. The person who's providing a service, whatever the service is, even though it's illegal, doesn't necessarily make it necessary. And even though it's immoral in a certain sense, doesn't necessarily make it a capital offense. And so I feel like I want to have a more dynamic character who's able to kind of discern what's, like, what true justice really is, instead of just saying, oh, this guy's bad, I'm gonna, wipe him off the face of the earth because I say he is. I think, I don't know. I think, in the words of Heath Ledger's Joker, instead of a new class of criminal, we need a new class of anti-hero. So, strength of character, and I'm not saying that Frank Castle doesn't have strength of character. I just think that maybe, I mean, even going back to the Jerry Conway, because he, as far as I remember, he was one of the creators of Punisher. It was pretty cut and dry, right? Frank saw someone doing something bad, he ended up in 6 feet under, right? And that was the end of it. There was like no discussion. Where I think the closer is going to be someone who kind of, in a way, like, stands in the gap. He's someone who people, like, reach out to. They found out about him and they reach out to him and they want him to help them exact justice where the legal system of a corrupt town or city has defaulted. And so in the pursuit of true justice, he seeks to find the actual truth about a matter. And so he's going to, employ certain people who are going to get him to that truth. And I think that maybe that will be the more interesting story than just straight up, vigilante crime, joker kind of moment, As much as I like to see an M60, fire off and take out the bad guy, or someone who's called the bad guy, I kind of want to, I find it more interesting to determine whether or not a person is truly a bad guy and is deserving of death. I think that pursuit is a little more interesting to me. But, that's just me. Who knows? Maybe, maybe what I wind up creating with the closer doesn't resonate with people. And so, he only gets like one issue. Or what, one little story. and I think maybe that's where this conversation kind of goes, is like, give the people what they want. And if the people don't, like, for example, I'm putting a whole lot of eggs in a basket, to bring that metaphor back around, for Chrome Dog. People, he may not resonate with people. People may not like Chrome Dog. They may not think he's everything that I think he is. And so I have to, kind of be responsive to that, because why should I be, trying to put out something that people just don't really want, So, and maybe that's kind of the pursuit I have of creating all these different characters, so that maybe I can have a plethora of characters that people can enjoy, and and maybe say that, oh, this character, really, I can really relate to, or this story I can really get behind because it feels so close to home, or whatever, or maybe it doesn't feel close to home. Maybe that's the appeal. With Wildcard, she's going to be this femme fatale who's able to take out the trash in her own way as a bounty hunter by night, and a crime scene investigator by day. Because again, she's another person who sees injustices happening all around her, and she's decided to take matters into her own hands. So, and again, maybe that character isn't going to resonate with people. Which, now that I'm talking about her, do you want to see what she looks like, or at least what a preliminary character sketch of her is? I would love to produce that. Let me see what happens. Okay, so just go black. Cool. Let's show off a little Wildcard art. So this is by no means final. Actually, hold on. Okay. All right. So shout out to Kevin McDougall for helping me get these characters figured out in one way or the other. Maybe not. Let me grab this. So we went through a few different back and forths and whatnot. Maybe it'll let me. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we went back and forth a few times. This was Kevin's first draft of what I was trying to kind of describe as Wildcard's costume. And as you can see, yes, we're going full boob window because I want sexy characters, and I want so yeah, I've been kind of holding out. Chrome Dog is a bit of a kind of a macho metal man, if you will. So I've been going more beefcake with him than cheesecake, but yeah, believe me, cheesecake is coming. But this was the initial offering. And so what we got, we've got Wildcard here. She doesn't have her mask on. Her hair's, I don't know if I like the bangs, to be honest. And then, so she kind of has she has, of course, she has the diamond window. There's a few things going on in this costume, which I'm going to use elements of this for another character I have. K-Fade is her name. And so I'm definitely going to do that. But in the meantime, what I did was I kind of had him change a few things here. And so, well, that's kind of letting a little bit of the cat out of the bag, isn't it? All right, there it is. So this was kind of me trying to, say, okay, this needs to change, that needs to change. But once I did that, right, I had him do this. I'm like, it's still not quite where I want it. Like, this is too much like, kind of like a Catwoman in a way, right? Bruce Timm Catwoman. Very plain Jane, not a big deal, right? Just kind of like whatever. And yeah, of course, these on her hands would have been diamonds, but and these feet, ultimately I don't really like this. So we kind of went back and forth, and then the mask. So I wanted a domino mask that has, that comes, it kind of shows this was me drawing the mask on her. Those were, yeah, that's my art there on the eyes. And then this is almost where we are ultimately. So this is almost done. So the idea is she's wearing these gloves that come down, they're fingerless gloves. So I'm incorporating elements of Psylocke, I think, and some other femme fatales in the comic book zeitgeist. So a little bit of an homage here, there, and everywhere for this this bounty hunter. And so yeah, this is very similar to what I actually want. Let me see if I can find. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not ready to show the full-on piece of art. Let's see. But yeah. Look like a yoga outfit, right? Like yoga pants. He says much better. Yeah. And so, and I purposefully just had him do just line art, no big deal. That way I can kind of accentuate what I want on my own, color them the way I want. I just wanted to have like a skeleton of what I want to try to, tack on, because, that's the thing. I have design talent, but I lack the ability to take the thoughts of my head and convey them on a piece of paper yet. So in the form of a drawing that's coherent and actually looks decent. So that's where Kevin and Luke helped me out in that department. But yeah, so that's wild card again. That's another part of my soul searching. I've been thinking about, I found myself somewhat distracted by the concept of a next book being Epsilon City Files book. So it's a different, it's a departure from Chrome Dog, but it gave me, it caused me to think, okay, maybe I'm spreading myself a little too thin. I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing with Chrome Dog, get that done, make sure I get the first 3 books of that story arc out before I do anything else. But in the meantime, at least I can noodle. I can kind of just think on what I'm, who the closer and wild card are, and what they're going to be about, and and kind of start getting that written down in a cohesive way. So that's the plight of the writer, to try to be cohesive, try to make sense, try to take the stream of consciousness and take it from being gibberish and into something great. The greats are the ones that have been able to do that throughout the over the millennia. So my aspirations here are just to tell a good story. I don't have to be great. I just want to be great at telling a story and doing it right the first time. That's what I want to do. And I'm also learning I need to make sure that I budget for an editor. And I'm sure a lot of you creators out there know exactly what I'm talking about. An actual, someone who knows how to edit a comic book. it's different than editing text on a page. You know, copy editors are one thing. I can edit my own copy, but I don't know the first thing. I mean, I'm learning the first thing about what it means to, you know, tell a story from page to page to panel to panel. You know, and I can, you know, I'm too close to my own work to be able to see the, you know, I can't see the forest for the trees. And so people, these other folks, you know, someone else can look at my work, or better yet, I'm able to help someone else with their own work. It's a whole lot easier for me to do that than it is for me to be able to see the things that are wrong with mine, I guess, because of bias, you know, being biased. Okay, I gotta raise my window because it's getting cool outside. Wow, I've been going at it for almost 2 hours. This is dang, Duck. I appreciate you hanging in there with me, man. Yeah. Eventually, and I have this other thing that I'm thinking of doing is I want to go through my videos and just cut out, you know, pull out little snippets of these little rants that I do and just turn them into videos. Even if there's something visually like compelling on the screen as I'm talking, rather than, you know, looking at my my hands or these boring cards to those who are not into card games. Okay, you said it's good to spread out a little bit every once in a while. Spacing and timing are very important. Yes, 100% agree. Yes. Yes. So that, I think, is all I care to share at this time. I've gone way over time budget for this, and I really don't want to put you guys through me trying to build this deck in real time, because I'm gonna have to go grab some more cards from another area and, you know, whatever, blah blah blah. It's very tedious and boring at times. But I do truly appreciate Joe Catapano for coming by. Be sure to check out Star Circuit. He's got, I think, volume number 2 is in sign up right now. My apologies if it's already a campaign. If regardless, look it up, Star Circuit, check it out. I believe his comics are, his imprint is Vera Via Studios. So check that out. And I appreciate you, Joe, for coming by and hanging with us. And of course, always the ever-present Duck Bacon coming in here, being a, you know, ever-present help in a time of need for me. So I appreciate that. And until next time, enjoy our wild America.